I was looking at different programs and thinking about my own career path. Up until then, there were so few people in senior positions who looked like me, which is really confusing because I'm from New York, which is an incredibly diverse place where you would think there'd be a lot of women and a lot of people of color and women of color leading businesses, and there just aren't.
If you look at venture capital in the US, and the US is about 70% of global venture capital, it's over 95% of it goes to white male founders, which would be fine if white males were 95% of the population, but it's a bit strange when they're 30% of the population.
Every year, the New York Times compares the number of female CEOs in the Fortune 500 compared to the men named John. About half the world's population is female, but only 3% of the world's population are called John.
To me, empowerment is like an existential issue. It's a basic human need. It is about being able to take decisions for yourself.
The UN's 5th Sustainable Development Goal is a call to action for all of us, men and women, to work together to achieve gender equality. One of the most interesting initiatives the school's embarked on in the last few years is a new executive program called Women Transforming Leadership. And this brings women from around the world together to support each other, to think about their own leadership style, and also to think about how they want to lead their organisations in future.
In our study, we've been interviewing women who've been in the programme. We've interviewed over 100 women now. And essentially we're looking at what shaped their journey and when did they feel they became a leader.
When we asked the same question to both men and women, we got very different answers initially. With men, we very often got references to experiences in childhood, adolescence, being captain of a sports team, head boy in school. Now, when we asked the same question to initially the female CEOs in our sample, they were typically much more focused on when I got my first profit and loss responsibility, a fairly recent promotion, definitely something that happened within their professional career. We told them that others had mentioned these earlier moments, and more often than not, they would respond, well, of course, I've had similar experiences. I've just never considered them as leadership.
You have to spend your time doing something you are passionate about.
I remember a speaker coming to speak to us during the MBA, and she had such a strong purpose, and I remember thinking, what is my purpose? I came into the MBA with no clear idea of where I wanted to go afterwards. I really wanted to use the year to explore.
Things really started to turn around after the MBA as far as going from the NGO world into the impact investment world. I think that Oxford gave me a platform and it gave me access to a whole new world of opportunities that a lot of other women of color don't get.
The inspiration for Make Tomorrow was really very unplanned. I was towards the end of the MBA and happened to come across a really hard-hitting climate change article. I think the article just kind of helped me reconnect with that core passion of what I really care about. And being in Oxford, being in this kind of supportive environment, meant that I kind of felt safe to explore that. And I knew that I had all these new skills and connections that I could use to really try and build something to make an impact in that space. And the goal of the company is really to help corporates better understand what's happening about climate change and what they can do about it.
I would want every prospective female student to Saïd Business School to know that this is a place where they can realise their ambitions and their aspirations, and that when they leave us, they can achieve whatever they want.
My big dream is to, help thousands of entrepreneurs scale social businesses in the US, in Africa, across emerging markets, and know that I'm part of a wave of inclusive capitalism, inclusive impact investment.
2 months ago, if you had asked me, I would say, hopefully I can have a role that makes a difference, but I feel pretty confident now in saying that at some point in my career, I want to be part of the C-suite. And I used to think that was a really inappropriate thing to say, and that if I said it, people would look at me and be like, wow, she's really cocky, and I just don't feel like that anymore. So that's like a big win for me personally.
When the world challenges, Oxford answers.